What was it about your job that gave you a lot of satisfaction?
Well, I loved Eastern. I truly love Eastern. Much like President Whitlock, our paths are similar in that we're hometown guys that just have a passion for the university, and so I always wanted to see our teams do well and our athletes after they left college do well in the pros. So it was, I don't know, it's hard to explain. It was almost a job that was, my life was headed, it was there for me, and it was a job that it was meant, I guess, for me to be a sports information person somewhere, and luckily it was here at Eastern.
And is that the kind of job that, you know, they say if you love what you're doing, that you don't work a day in your life?
Oh, yeah. That's a good point. Yeah, I never dreaded going to work, and we had some great people that we worked with, and a lot of graduate assistants. President Whitlock's wife, Joanne, and I were workmates for 30 years. So, and then we had, one fellow I wanted to mention was Hugh Davis. Hugh started keeping stats for us in 1977, and it was certainly a key addition, because that was one area of the contest that SID was in charge of, but I knew with Hugh involved, he would get stat keepers to help, and he's still doing it today. So,
remember Big Al Clark?
Al Clark, gosh, I sure do. He was, when I was sports editor of the Progress, Al was one of our sports writers, and of course he went ahead to be an American League umpire and for several years.
Al used to, you know, Al's one of those folks. As you can tell by his name, Big Al Clark. He's big, burly fella. He was from New Jersey, and it was all, you know. He's talked about his dad was a sports editor in Trenton, and well, what you gonna do when you get out of college, Al? He says, well, I'm gonna go to school. I'm gonna become a major league umpire. Yeah. And we're all thinking, well, yeah, sure, Al. Yeah. And sure enough, he hadn't been out of school too terribly long, and I'm tuning in an American League game on TV, and they're announcing the umpires, and at first base, Al Clark. And I looked, and it was our Al Clark. So all that talk wasn't just talk.
Yeah, he was quite a character. He had a lot of bravado with him, I think, the northern bravado. He was a good guy and a very talented umpire.
And not the only Eastern graduate to go on and become a major league umpire.
That's right. Sam Holbrook was my graduate assistant in 1990, and he is now a National League mostly umpire. They switch off every now and then, but he went to Eastern and pitched for Jim Ward, and wanted to get his graduate degree, so he became a graduate assistant one year for us in sports information.
Wasn't he the one that bounced McGuire out of a game before he had a chance? You know, it was one of these deals where he needed some more at-bats to do something.
That's right. He was headed toward the all-time home run record, and they were counting the at-bats, and what he needed, one every 12 at-bats, he needed a home run. And it was early, it was like first or second inning, and it was a dispute over a ball strike, which is almost automatic ejection. And I still got the picture up. In fact, I kept it after retirement. It's up in my office over the Coliseum. It shows Sam, you know, throwing Mark McGuire out, and it was a bold move. I mean, he caught some flack on that because of, like Doug said, the folks were looking for him to break the all-time home run record, home runs for a season, and that took about 4 at-bats away from him.
Yeah. See, Karl, is just so many. You know, and I know, but not enough people know the real richness of athletics at Eastern, and just where all those fibers and tendrils run.
Oh yeah, it's special. The folks that have left here and made special careers.
People who coached with Roy Kidd, you know.
Yeah, Larry Marmee played quarterback here, and he's been with several pro teams, and he's still coaching today. And
the Jets coach, the Texas coach.
Oh, that's right. The Ryan brothers, the twins. There's just so many connections, and yeah, it's special to know that they've gone ahead and done well. And of course, Harvey Geary, Lee Majors played football here a couple of years before he hurt his back and became quite a star in Hollywood. And there's all kinds of folks that have gone on to outstanding careers.
You mentioned Jim Ward a minute ago. Who are some, besides the obvious Roy Kidd, who are some of the coaches that you remember as being particularly colorful and noteworthy?
Two of those that I would come up really quickly were Max Good and Guy Strong. Guy Strong was quite the competitor. He was a different fella in the hallway before the game, and when that tip, Doug's already mentioned some of the things that happened during the game, but he was famous for his foot stomp, and Max had a foot stomp, but Max wore these rubber sole shoes. You couldn't hear it as well, but with Guy Strong, when he stomped at court, you could hear it all around. But they were two really good coaches. Max was the kind of the Digger Phelps for us. He was the dapper dresser and flamboyant, and he was an excellent coach. I thought Max did a great job here, but he was one of the more colorful, along with Guy Strong.
Of course, Max is still coaching, and our mutual friend Weber Hamilton, I think, is trying to strike up. He's working Jeff Neubauer to schedule a game, get Max back in here.
Max is now the head coach at Loyola Marymount in California. So he's went to Maine Central Institute and did quite a job there. Then he went to Bryant College as head coach, and they were getting ready to go Division I, and he didn't think that they had the resources or facilities, so he had a chance to go to Marymount with this. His name was Billy Baino, and when he was going out as an assistant, and Coach Baino had some, I guess, personal behavior problems, and all of a sudden Max is the interim coach. Now he's truly the head coach.
Talk a little bit more about the history of EKU basketball. There have been quite a few lows, and there have been a few highs. What's your kind of overall view of that?
Well, in researching, of course, I remember some of this growing up, but the Paul McGuire years were really special. Those teams, they were nationally known. We played a really competitive schedule, and I think it was the 1949 and 50 year, we finished 11th in the Dunkel Index, which was equivalent to the AP poll, and that's all colleges in America, Division I. And the state had the University of Louisville, of course, UK, Western. Murray was a force, and even Moorhead every now and then would have a team. So we had 6 Division I teams that were very competitive. And Coach McGuire came from Adolph Rupp's staff and brought a toughness to the program. I think, and Doug could probably back this up, but his teams were known for defense and rebounding, and just when you go in it's just a war out there. Not so much maybe as the finesse shooting games, but the physical part of the game.
Oh, there was nothing that tore Coach McGuire up more than for the other team to shoot an uncontested layup. That was a capital offense if you were